Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone, my name is Syafiqah Umairah binti Saha, and in this video, I'll be explaining a bit about working capital and the main focus of our project. So working capital is basically the difference between a company current asset and current liability. It is important because it shows how well a company can manage its short-term commitment like paying bills, restocking inventory and running daily operation. For retail business like 7-Eleven, having enough working capital is crucial to keep everything running smoothly. It's helped them to avoid stock issue, make payment on time, and maintain customer satisfaction. In this project, our objectives are to identify the working capital approach by use 7-Eleven, whether it's aggressive, conservative, or heady, and also to determine your working capital policy, whether it's relaxed, moderate, or restrict. At the end of this analysis, we'll understand how 7-Eleven manage its finance to stay efficient and competitive in the real industry.
Thank you, Syafiqah, for the introduction. My name is Nur Sharifah Eliza binti Herman, and I will explain about categorizations of asset and liabilities. We begin on the left side. For non-current asset, we have property, plant and equipment, right of use assets, intangible assets, and more. For current assets, we have inventory, other receivable, other investment, and more. For right side, we have liabilities. For non-current liabilities, we have provisions, deferred tax liabilities, and more. For current liabilities, we have borrowing, trade payable, and more. Total for asset is 2,456,026 ringgit, and total for liabilities is 2,130,626 ringgit. Let's focus on the current asset sections. In black font, we highlight the temporary current assets, which include inventories and other investment. In green font, we show the permanent current assets, which include tax recoverable. These are the minimum assets required for the business to run smoothly on a daily basis. Now, moving on the company revenue performance. In 2023, the company record a revenue of 2,783,552,000 ringgit. For 2024, the company record a revenue of 2,925,548,000 ringgit. This represents a growth of 141,996,000 from the previous year. This increase reflects a positive trend in the company's financial performance.
Hi, my name is Adila Inshira binti Muhammad Salvi. I'll be explaining about permanent current assets. When analyzing the trend of permanent current assets from 2019 to 2024, we see a steady increase in both inventory and cash level. In 2019, inventory stood at RM 231,330 and cash at RM 96,207. These values continue to grow over the years with a significant jump in 2022, where inventory reached RM 453,054 and cash RM 298 and 630. The peak in cash was in 2023, amounting to RM 799,474. By 2024, inventory is recorded at RM 420,030 and cash at RM 217,000 and 947, this trend reflects the company's growing operational skills and improved liquidity position, suggesting that 7-Eleven is maintaining sufficient working capital to support ongoing business activity. I will pass it to Zahira Hidayah.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. My name is Zahira Hidayah binti Basri. So as for my part, I will briefly explain the financial data analysis based on two indicators, current ratio and net working capital or NWC. So first, current ratio. The formula used is current ratio equal to current asset divided by current liabilities. In this case, current ratio is equal to 933,358 ringgit divided by 1,055,845 ringgit, which gives us a result of 0.88. This value is below 1, meaning the company's current liability exceeds its current asset. This may indicate liquidity pressure or a reliance on short-term borrowing to meet obligation. Next is for net working capital, NWC. The formula is net working capital equal to current asset minus current liabilities. So we calculate 933,358 ringgit minus 1,055,845 ringgit. The result is negative 122,487 ringgit. A negative NWC like this shows that the company may face difficulty in covering short-term obligation, and it suggests a need to improve cash flow or working capital and management. In conclusion, both indicators point to short-term financial stress. The company should consider increasing its current asset or reducing its liabilities to strengthen its liquidity. Thank you for your attention. I will pass to the next presenter.
For this part, I'll be explaining about financial sources for current and fixed assets in 7-Eleven. For 7-Eleven, fixed assets total RM 1.31 million and are fully financed through long-term sources such as equity, long-term borrowings, and non-current lease liabilities. This indicates a stable financing structure for long-term investments, which is a financially sound strategy. On the other hand, current assets amount to RM 930,358 and are mainly financed using current liabilities such as trade payables, short-term borrowings, and current lease liabilities. This shows that the company is using an aggressive financing approach, relying heavily on short-term sources to fund its day-to-day operations. While this can improve returns, it also increases liquidity risk. So that's all from me. I will pass to Norain.
Alright, so thank you Adila for give a good explanation about financing sources for current asset and also fixed asset. Alright, so now I will be presenting about 7-Eleven's working capital strategy, focusing on their approach and also policy and how these elements support their business model. First, let's look at 7-Eleven's working capital approach. So the company adopts an aggressive working capital approach, which is prioritize the use of short-term or temporary financing to support a large portion of its current asset. This approach involves a higher level of risk as it relies heavily on short-term financing, which can fluctuate based on market conditions like interest rate. However, it's offer the potential for higher returns as short-term financing tends to be less expensive than long-term options. In this model, fixed asset, which is FA, and a portion of permanent current asset, which is PCA, are covered through long-term financing, while the remaining assets are supported by short-term funding. Alright, so referring to the graph, the graph here visually demonstrates this strategy. Notice how total current asset, which is TCA, fluctuate over the time, reflecting the dynamic nature of short-term financing. Meanwhile, the permanent financing of fixed asset remains consistent. Alright, so next, let's examine the working capital policy. 7-Eleven's follow a restricted working capital policy, which emphasizes tight control over the current asset to ensure the operational efficiency. So this policy helps 7-Eleven maintain low level of liquid cash, which is carefully aligned with their short-term obligation. So this is will ensure that cash is utilized efficiently without being idle. Additionally, the company demonstrates a high turnover in receivable and inventory, indicating their ability to quickly convert asset into the cash. The second graph compares different working capital policies. As you can see, 7-Eleven's restricted policy keeps a current asset level at their lowest. This contrasts with more relaxed or moderate policies, which allow for higher asset level but result in less efficient use of capital. Alright, in summary, 7-Eleven combines an aggressive working capital approach with a restricted working capital policy, enabling them to balance risk and return effectively. The aggressive approach reduces financing costs but comes with higher risks. The restricted policy ensures the efficient management of cash, receivable, and also inventory. Alright, so together, these strategies align with 7-Eleven's business model of high inventory turnover and also optimize their cash flow, supporting its ability to deliver strong financial performance in a competitive retail environment. Alright, so this is our appendix. And alright, thank you so much. So I will pass to my team members, which is Ika.
To wrap up our video, we found that 7-Eleven use an aggressive working capital approach. This means they take on a big risk in exchange for higher return, which makes sense for a fast-paced retail business like theirs. They also follow a restricted working capital policy, meaning that they try to keep their current asset at the minimum level needed to operate. This helps them avoiding having too much cash or inventory sitting idle. Throughout this video, I realized that our group project together by dividing tasks fairly. We did research, calculated financial ratio, and prepared this presentation as a team. Overall, from me, this assignment helped us to understand how working capital used in real company, and it's also improved our teamwork and time management skills. So let's share the others reflection from my team.
I was the team leader. I arranged group meetings and made sure everyone completed their part. I also helped with the final conclusion. This improved my teamwork and leadership skill.
My reflection for this assignment, I work on finding and analyzing 7-Eleven's financial data. I learned how to check a company's assets and liabilities and understand its financial positions. This helped me to improve my skills in reading and understanding financial reports.
So my reflection from this assignment, my task was to figure out the type of working capital policy used by 7-Eleven. I learned that the company keeps low cash and release on fast inventory turnover. So this taught me how the companies manage their cash and stock carefully.
For my reflection, I prepared the slide and helped make the presentation easy to understand. I learned how to turn complex financial data into clear visuals. It also helped me understand the topic better by explaining it in a simple way.